Chief of the Defense Staff, the Director General, Ministry of Defense, Service Chiefs, Inspector General of the Sierra Leone Police, distinguished retirees, ex-servicemen and women and senior officers, men and women of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On this 14th Armed Forces Day celebrations, I lead a great nation, grateful nation, to honor and say thank you to our fallen heroes and heroines for the great sacrifice they have made. In several theaters of war and peacemaking, through 2 world wars in peace support operations around the world, and in Liberia, you have consistently unusual gallantry and uncommon bravery. We salute your supreme sacrifice and your service. To the brave warriors who defended this great nation through 11 years of civil war, and most of whom paid the ultimate price or bear the indelible scars of their valor. The families who they left behind, we pray that the good Lord Almighty will comfort and suture the pains of their absence in their lives. As we eulogize them, we assure in the words of the Holy Bible, Psalm 34, verse 18, that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Quran also reminds us in Surah 2, Al-Inshirah, far in attitude. John F. Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live them. We must therefore express our gratitude for the sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces by upholding the peace and keeping our nation together, by protecting and promoting the rights of our citizens, by supporting the Sierra Leone police in keeping law and order, inclusive and sustainable development, and by consolidating our democracy and bolstering institutions of governance. That we must do not because we feel like it, but because we are obligated to contribute to the peace, security, stability, and the development of our dear nation. I am who I am today because of this army. This army sharpened my core values of public service, discipline, and loyalty. Its enviable tradition of strict regimentation and esprit de corps molded me nearly 40 years ago. Like all of us who served then and serve now, this army taught us that there is no greater service than to serve our country through war and in peace. In the words of U.S. General George S. Patton, the soldier is the army. No army is better than its soldiers. The soldier is also a citizen. In fact, the highest obligation and privilege of a citizen of citizenship is that of bearing the arms of one's country. Congratulations for serving this nation. It is in recognition of that obligation that I have, through my first term as President and Commander-in-Chief, worked diligently to strengthen and modernize the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, RSLA, through both hard initiatives, including infrastructure and equipment, and soft initiatives, including welfare, training, and morale. These efforts, I say with all humility, are unprecedented, but not unexpected. In my manifesto, I promised the RSLA that I would work diligently to transform it into a professional, well-equipped, and highly capable force with motivated men and women who can carry out their constitutional mandate when required. No head of state has paid so much attention to and done so much for the RSLA in so short a time, ladies and gentlemen. I must at this juncture commend and appreciate the government and people of the People's Republic of China for unconditionally supporting my government's vision for transforming RSLA. Other global and sub-regional partners have also fully supported our bid to modernize and restructure our RSLA. Thank you all. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the site of the Old Mayon Officers' Mess, my government has constructed a modern state-of-the-art officers' mess. Towering just behind it is an imposing edifice, 104-bedroom accommodation for single officers at Wilberforce Barracks. At Wilberforce Barracks, still, my government has also constructed an ultra-modern warrant officers and sergeants' mess. As follows, my government has built 6 additional accommodation blocks for junior officers. At King Tom, my government has completed the construction of a military guest house, the Bone Defense. Still on the issue of construction, my government has completed the Gundama Barracks accommodation project and also finished the construction of modern accommodation for a minimum of about 360 personnel at 6 forward patrol bases at Yonkela, Yenga, Solima, Sunkunia, Sanya, and Bomaru. There have been additional construction projects undertaken by my government right across the force. Medical infrastructure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to register my profound gratitude for the fortitude in the face of challenges and constraints, and her determined drive to make possible the delivery of modern medical services to military personnel at the 34 hospital. She has championed the upgrading and expansion of the 34 military hospital. Construction work is nearly complete. The foreign facilities at 34 military hospital will soon be commissioned. A modern administrative block, a total of 500 bed spaces for pediatric cases, for males and for females. A fully equipped defense nursing school for training healthcare personnel that offer diploma-level nursing courses. The Center of Excellence for supporting survivors of gender violence, and a fully equipped modern diagnostic center for a digital X-ray machine and CT scan. My government has also paved a 2.1-kilometer road around the 34 military hospital with asphalt for all her great humanitarian work that has touched and transformed so many lives, especially the lives of girls throughout our nation. I thank the First Lady on behalf of ARSLAF. On behalf of ARSLAF, their families, and the community. With a focus on health of servicemen and men, on their families and their communities, my government has also undertaken the rehabilitation of the field hospitals at Daru, Bo, and Makeni. Those projects are nearing completion and will be staffed by highly trained personnel and provided with standardized facilities. Engineering equipment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just over a month ago, as a result of my government's partnership with the People's Republic of China, I commissioned substantial quantities of modern engineering equipment. I had promised those in my manifesto, and I have delivered them. Once an armed forces construction corporation is established, the ARSLAF Corps of Engineers will be highly capacitated. It will generate revenue from bidding for civil works, and it will contribute to non-traditional military functions, including agriculture and disaster relief. Equipment for peacekeeping support operations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, currently 32 male service personnel and 17 female personnel are serving in 18 different international support operations around the world. These personnel continue to serve with great distinction in each of those theaters. Every effort will be made, therefore, to procure major and self-sustaining equipment to facilitate the deployment of formed units of peace support operations. This will broaden the experience of our personnel and also bring in the much coveted financial benefits. Building the capacity of the Navy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in line with my promise to capacitate the naval wing of the ARSLAF, my government has worked with partners to build up naval assets and develop the skills of our seamen and women. My government has constructed a slipway at the Maritime Naval Base. I've already commissioned 4 inshore patrol boats gifted to us by the government of South Korea. I will also soon commission a 37-meter long Type C patrol base from the President of the People's Republic of China. Sierra Leone is a participant in the ECOWAS multi-country support to West Africa Integrated Maritime Security Program that will strengthen the operational capacity of our Navy. Sierra Leone will soon receive the rigid inflatable boats that will be used for inshore patrols and operations. Equipment is being installed in the operational center in forward operating naval bases. With all these developments, our Navy is far more. My government has been in close multilateral engagement with our friends and international partners to develop the technical capacity of our air wing and to also procure equipment and air assets for building for future air platform of the air wing of the ARSLAF. Regimental brass band. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we saw that on display. The band that has delighted us since the start of this event is a brand new regimental land that has been procured for the Armed Forces Band. This is in acknowledgement the pivotal role of the band that the band plays both in instilling morale and maintaining a positive relationship between the forces and the citizens at large. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in 2019, the Defense Council approved reversion to the tri-service structure. The rationale was to develop the ASLAF into a more capable, modern, and agile force that will deliver on enhanced military missions and tasks as required. Recent partnerships with foreign partners demonstrate that this is possible. I therefore urge that this critical facet of modernization be implemented without further delay. Welfare, education and training. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in line with my government's national commitment to promoting human capital development, my government provides educational support to the armed forces by awarding granting aid at tertiary institutions for active service personnel. Other training and educational opportunities will be available as a consequence of our partnership with friendly nations and partners. Welfare, the loan schemes. My government sanctioned the establishment of the Armed Forces Endowment and Loan Scheme that provides loans to service personnel to address pressing welfare issues. Additionally, the scheme will enable ASLAF to establish revenue-generating business ventures that can further support the welfare of service personnel. Retirement age and pay. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my government has reviewed and approved the retirement age of service personnel to 60 years. And that is in line with the rest of the public service, by the way. Significantly, I'm aware of the efforts to cushion the effects of disproportionate salary scales. Since 2020, my government has given effect to a 75% increase in salaries of soldiers across all ranks. Also, the Defense Council has adopted a novel approach to improving the conditions of service of our service personnel by establishing an Armed Forces Pay Board. The board will start with reviews with the objective of enhancing and rationalizing take-home pay. The basic pay of the service personnel is directly correlated to ex gratia, gratuities, and pensions after retirement. More basic pay means more terminal benefits. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware that the Ministry of Defense has started consultations across the country to determine the number of ex-servicemen and women and to come up with a plan of action in order to have a formidable veterans organization that will be charged with the responsibility of managing their affairs. I believe we can go one step further. I urge the creation of a Directorate of Veterans Affairs located within the Ministry of Defense. The Directorate will be responsible for all matters relating to veterans of ASLAF, including benefits, post-service training and employment, access to loans, and other general welfare matters, including adequate low-cost health care. My government believes that those who serve our nation with honor deserve to be treated honorably for the rest of their lives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gender inclusion and empowerment in ASLAF. The recent Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment Law that I signed mandates minimum threshold for including women into public institutions and in leadership. Before then, in 2019, my government undertook a special recruitment of 300 young women, officers and men, to start addressing the seeming gender imbalance in the military. In the last 4 years, significantly more opportunities have been opened up for women in ASLAF, in training, promotion, and assuming command roles. Gender training has been intensified. I urge the Ministry of Defense to adopt a more affirmative and prominent posture on gender recruitment, retention, promotion, and the well-being of women in our flag. Mental health care and substance abuse. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, drug or substance abuse is a national security problem with which we must contend with isolation. Like the rest of society, members of ASLAF are not immune from the drug problem. Enforcement and punishment must be complemented with prevention, education, and rehabilitation. I urge the Ministry of Defense and ASLAF leadership to take proactive and concrete measures to address drugs or substance abuse in ASLAF. I also know that soldiers are tough people. They are expected to be physically tough. But mental illness is real. It's here and it's real. The ASLAF must not simply dismiss it or cast aspersion on personnel and their families struggling with mental illness. I am informed that plans are underway to establish a mental health care unit at the Bow Brigade. Congratulations for that decision. I urge the Ministry of Defense and the ASLAF leadership to not only map out the extent of the problem, but also forge strategic partnerships with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, agencies of government and foreign and local partners to provide comprehensive, quality mental health care to our personnel and their family. Public education and armed forces today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Defense and ASLAF leadership must do more to communicate the significance of this public holiday celebration of the men and women who serve and have served proudly and loyally served this nation. The ASLAF should engage the National Council for Civic Education and Democracy, civil society organizations, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, the Ministry of Information and Communication, private broadcasters and professional media organizations, traditional and civic leaders, community leaders, and more, to organize events around Forces Day and teach the significance of Armed Forces Day as part of civic education. The general public must and should learn about why service in the military matters and what service in the military means. I can also imagine that in this day and age of technology and social media, the Ministry of Defense and ASLAF can get our brothers and sisters in the diaspora and other persons with access to social media involved not only in celebrations, but also in celebrating the significance of armed forces in their own unique ways. Virtual events and celebrations on Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, via online letters, newsletters can guarantee more participation in and knowledge about the significance of Armed Forces Day. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, beyond the single day of celebration, I urge the general public to celebrate the great service of our men and women in uniform and to say thank you in their own small ways whenever they interact with them. Upon producing a current identification card, private businesses should consider granting and serving retired personnel discounts on goods and services, as well as preferential services. And also, I'm going to use also. For instance, transport operators should consider lower fares. Mobile companies should consider special discount plans. Retailers, including supermarkets, including building supplies, electronics, and houseware or general merchandise stores should consider special discounts for our servicemen and women. Insurance providers and private healthcare providers should consider special rates for our servicemen and women. Banks should consider special concessionary rates. House owners should consider special discounts on rent. And more costly preferences should also be accorded to service personnel for any service involving queuing. These are not policies or pronouncements. These are simply suggestions to citizens to say to you all, and maybe some of us, thank you every day in their own ways, to our men and women in uniform and to those who have served this nation. The service test and military creed for serving and retired personnel. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as your Commander-in-Chief, let me remind you of the military creed and the oath of allegiance that you took at the official graduation ceremony, your passing out parade. You are to serve the people of Sierra Leone. The RSLAF is not a political party. The RSLAF is not a political entity. Like our moderator said, we are politically professional, law-abiding, and loyal. You must continuously display training your arms, your equipment, and your staff. The officers and enjoin you to always lead by example, mindful of the service test. Ask yourself the question, have your actions or behavior adversely impacted, or are they likely to adversely impact the efficiency or operational effectiveness of the service? If your answer is yes, based on your action or behavior, then you should advise yourself and change course. In short, you must display the highest standards of discipline, selflessness, commitment, loyalty, respect for others, courage, and integrity at all times, and especially during the forthcoming elections. Politicians will come and go, but the RSLAF will forever be the RSLAF. Politicians will come and go. Therefore, the RSLAF must maintain its national character and its professionalism at all times. RSLAF personnel must remain non-political and support secure, safe, peace, democratic elections. To the leaders of political parties like myself standing here, and supporters, please let's us keep the RSLAF out of politics. Never should these fine men and women in uniform be used for political purposes. Democratic governance is here to stay, and unconstitutional changes of government are frowned upon internationally and at home. The ASLAP must and will remain apolitical and focused on the defense missions and military tasks. I also urge the ASLAP to work professionally with the Sierra Leone police and support them in providing security for every voter to freely and safely cast their vote during the forthcoming general elections. As I conclude, I do so with a prayer that the service, labor, and sacrifices of you ASLAP personnel and retired shall never be in vain. We salute your bravery. We